Welcome to the Athlete Insights Podcast, hosted by Yash Day, a podcast focused on letting athletes tell their journeys in their sport. This podcast is presented by Boxed Water. Boxed water is better.
Welcome into another episode of the Athlete Insights Podcast. Today I've got my guest, Nile Max-George. He'll be a collegiate golfer coming this fall at Ferrum College. He's in Houston, he's from Houston. So I appreciate you, Nile, for taking the time to spend with me on this Tuesday morning and just chat about your career, chat about your aspirations, all these different things. So I appreciate you taking the time, man. I know we were trying to set this up for a couple of days, but
Yes, thank you for having me.
glad we got the time to talk. But as I do with all my guests, I want to take it back to the beginning and kind of, dissect kind of the beginning of kind of how you fell in love with sport to where you are now. Because I'm a big believer in what we do in the past kind of help shape who we are today. And so, can you talk about that? As I just mentioned, talking about when you first kind of fell in love with sport. Can you talk about when your first interaction with sport, or when you first fell in love with sport was?
Yeah, so I've always been playing sports since I was like 6.
Okay.
Like I play like soccer and basketball, and those are my like 2 main sports I was playing at the time.
hmm
And then I really like basketball, but once I got to the age of like 9, I would say,
hmm
my mom put me in this program called the First Tee, and
Okay.
I just the whole main thing about the First Tee is that it's about core values and integrity,
Mhm.
honesty,
Yep.
um, just like things you do in life, you know?
Yep.
So yeah, I did that, and I like playing golf. Like I don't know what it was about it, but
Yeah.
from starting that, I just started playing golf, and then I registered for tournaments, and then
Yeah.
you know playing tournaments and meeting new people and traveling around the country. It was nice. So
Gotcha. Gotcha. And the first tee is such a great and I know you're a great ambassador for them now, going through that process and being a part of the first tee, and that's such a great tool for kids, young people to get into the game of golf and uh, really thrive in the game of golf. And you talked about your mom put you in the first tee and like that's kind of where you started to just really lock in and focus in on golf. What has that meant, your time in the first tee meant for your career so far, and then for your career moving forward as well?
it's mean a lot. Like I think if I was in the First Tee, I probably wouldn't be playing golf. But
Gotcha.
yeah, it's definitely meant a lot. They've given me amazing opportunities, and
hmm
just I'm grateful for the people that helped me like through everything, because that's pretty much where I started. So it's been a good journey. I feel like it's definitely a good program to get into for starting
hmm
out with golf, and it's nice.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And is there any one youth golf memory, playing youth golf, before we get into your high school career, kind of dissect that? Is there any
Yeah,
something?
is a couple, but
Okay.
I think it was I think I was like 11. I was playing a junior tournament. I made
hmm
like a 40 footer for a birdie. It was like my first like long putt like ever. So
hmm
yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Pretty 40 footer at 11 years old. That's it's kind of what JJ Spawn hit almost
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the final round on Sunday. So
yeah.
that was a wild US Open. I get off track there, but then you get into kind of your high school career, and you're in high school in Houston, um, Texas, and can you talk about your high school experience? I'm assuming you were just focused on golf. You didn't have any other sports, or did you play other sports in high school as well?
No, so probably yeah, right after I finished middle school, and
hmm
then right after middle school, I kind of just focused on golf. So that's where I started. I went back to doing homeschool.
Gotcha.
So just it kind of helped me focus on golf and gave me a lot more free time to just be on the golf course, and I won't be at school for you know like
Yeah.
a long time, and I won't have that much time to practice. So kind of help with that a little bit.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Um, and can you talk about your experience playing high school tournaments or tournaments throughout your high school career per se? Can you talk about those experiences and
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They're definitely fun. They're definitely very competitive now. Like
hmm
there's a lot of kids that are just like really good, but they're definitely fun. You meet so many great people, and it's just yeah, it's real nice because
yeah.
you get to travel to a lot of places, and they give you a lot of opportunities to play good, and you get to play a lot of courses. And
hmm and when you think about golf in general, a lot of people say it's mostly mental, like there's a physical aspect, but it's obviously a very mental game. How would you um, how would you divide up if you were to divide in percentages in terms of golf as mental versus uh, physical or the physicality of it? How would you divide that up in percentages if it was up to you?
yeah, so before I would definitely say 50-50. It would be
Okay.
50 if I was maybe like 14, because
hmm
for me at that time it's all physical. I would think that, but now as I'm kind of maturing, I would say it's almost like I wouldn't say all of it, but 90% mental. Like
Gotcha.
that's that kind of that's kind of where it's at. Like you can't do anything without being positive and having
hmm
a good outlook on things. If you're having a bad, my thing is that if you're having a bad outlook on things, you're
Yeah.
never gonna, it's never gonna go your way. It's
Gotcha. And when you'll be joining Ferrum College and you'll be on their golf team starting the fall. Can you walk me through kind of your decision to pick Ferrum and kind of what went into that decision, kind of uh what stood out about Ferrum College and their golf team?
yeah. So I was talking to two other schools, and one is like 30 minutes away from here. So that
Okay,
was one of my first options.
gotcha.
But um, yeah, I just had a really good connection with the coach at Ferrum. Like he knows one of my friends that they're good friends, and so yeah, I just had a really good connection. I met a lot of or I've seen a lot of the players, and they seem really nice. And
Gotcha.
um, yeah, overall, I mean, also, uh, I don't hate Houston, but the weather does get pretty hot here, so
Yeah.
it's good for change of scenery. Yeah,
I can imagine Texas. I've never been to Texas, so I don't know, but I can imagine. I've had friends out there in Austin and Houston that say it can get very, very humid and hot very quickly
yeah,
in
yes.
summer. And so, um, and you talk about your relationship. Can you expand on that a little bit more? The relationship with Coach Ruff at Ferrum and kind of what that's been like and what you've learned from him so far. I know you still have yet to join the team, but I'm assuming you've had contacts with him and connection with him, obviously, like you mentioned. Can you expand on that a little bit more on that relationship?
Yeah, so believe I contacted him maybe April, and just the basic recruiting process. I contact him,
Yeah.
and then yeah, I don't know what it was, to be honest, but it was we just had a like connection, and
Okay.
then apparently we have like my friend is his, I believe, uncle, or
Mm,
they're both friends. So yeah, that kind of made us closer,
gotcha.
and we yeah, we just had a really good connection. Um, yeah, so it's great.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And you've had it seems like you've had a lot of good mentors. Obviously, your mom putting you in the first tee. It's great. The mentors at the first tee, your now will be your collegiate coach at Ferrum and another. thing that I read about you is your grandfather was drafted by the Phillies, and he played for the Phillies. And so, what kind of a mentorship role or kind of impact has that had on your, baseball and golf are two different sports, but what kind of impact has your grandfather and having that there of him being in pro sports and really progressing in sport, well, how what kind of impact has that had on your career so far?
Yeah, it's definitely had an impact. Feel like just like being an athlete, like
Mhm.
it's just not necessarily in your blood, but like,
Yeah.
you kind of have that ability to just play a sport,
Yeah.
So, yeah, he played for the Phillies. Um, but yeah, I think I think it's just, I don't know if it's in your DNA or not, but
Hmm.
it's definitely like in my blood to, I guess, just play a sport. So,
Yeah. No, and I'm sure, I mean, having a grandfather that played in the major leagues with the Philadelphia Phillies um, is amazing. And it kind of, obviously, like you said, it does have an impact and kind of in that process. And when you look at your schedule now in terms of your tournament schedule in the summer and going into Ferrum College, can you talk about some of your goals that you have going into your freshman year, collegiate, like even talk about kind of leading into this some the closing end of stretch of this summer going into your freshman year, kind of what are some goals that you have for the future?
yeah, I have a lot of goals, but the main things, the my main goals are just goals that are not even about like golf. They're
Mm,
mainly just focusing on my mental and like just staying positive, taking it day by day,
yeah.
just focusing on things that I can control and letting whatever happens happens.
Mhm.
Um, but I have a couple of tournaments. So I'm trying to play like two tournaments a month. Um,
Okay.
just trying to get ready for college and maybe three because college does have a couple of events in here and there. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, trying to get my scores um like 5 strokes down. I'm not trying to go for crazy stats. I just
Yeah.
take it one stroke at a time.
Yeah, yeah. And that's all you really can do, right? That's the beautiful thing with golf is you really can only take it one stroke at a time and you can't get it all back in one. You gotta, you know, um, go one stroke, one shot, one putt at a time. And that's uh, so great to kind of hear that from you. And you talk about, your goals are majority focused on, your mental side of golf and kind of the mental aspects. What are some strategies that you use in terms of helping you mentally when you're out on the golf course? Can you talk about some of those strategies that you've employed?
Yeah, definitely. Like breathing.
Hmm.
That's like the most important thing for me. I feel like sometimes you can be so caught up in like other things and you're worrying about too much. I feel
Yeah.
like at times where you just not need to like you need to take a deep breath and just not forget about it all, but just don't make it seem as big as it is.
Mm, I
But
got you.
yeah, just that's one of things I do on the golf course. If I make a bogey or if I have a bad hole, I just take a deep breath and just move on to the next hole. It's like it's hard to do. It's very hard to do, even at times, but you kind of just have to move on.
Yeah.
And I felt like, yeah, you can't look at the past because the past is already gone. So it's
Yeah.
you know, but
Got to move forward, keep moving forward, and like you said earlier, take it one shot at a time. And so,
yes,
um, no, it's great. I mean, I'm wishing you the best of luck as you finish your summer swing of tournaments, going into your freshman year at Ferrum College. But before we end the podcast, I always allow the opportunity for my guests to provide advice to the younger generation, and really that's the reasoning behind this podcast is to help inspire the younger generation of of golfers, tennis players, whoever may be, athletes in general, right? And so now, if I was to ask you if you're sitting in a room full of um, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, young kids, stuff who want to um, like yourself, play golf at the next level. What's one piece of advice that you'd give?
Yeah, I would definitely say just if you're playing a sport, just to not keep at it, but just to like just to like stay stay with the sport, you know, because you're gonna have bad days and you're gonna have you know, just a bad not a bad time, but you know, like yeah, times are gonna be rough. So
Yeah,
I would say definitely stay at it, keep your grades up. That's definitely one thing.
yeah,
You can't play collegiate golf or you can't play really any sports with having bad grades. So
yeah,
you definitely want to keep that up. Another thing is just yeah, stay positive and always have a good outlook on things. Also
mhm,
having like a mental coach. That's a that's another thing I would say.
mhm.
I never really had a mental coach, but it's definitely good to have one though. It would definitely help out.
Gotcha. Yeah,
And then a yeah, yeah, just those like four things. Just if you keep at it, you're definitely gonna progress and um you're gonna get better.
gotcha. Yeah, and that's the key there, right? Just like you said, keeping at it, keeping the consistency, and staying with it through the good, the bad. The bad is going to come. You just have to weather the storm in a way, and stay with it, and go from there. But that's great insight, and I appreciate you now for sharing that for our viewers, for our listeners, and it's great to hear. Kind of your experiences that you've had, and the mentors that you've had that have helped you along the way. Great to hear about your story. So I appreciate you taking the time with me today. But that's all the time that we have for this episode of the Athlete Insights podcast. You can follow Nile and his journey um, to Ferrum College and beyond on his social media. So I'll have your social media handles linked on the video, linked on Spotify, all the different things, all the different platforms. And you can find my podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you can get a podcast, you'll find this one. So now appreciate you taking the time today. I know through your busy tournament schedule to sit and chat. Appreciate you. And I wish you the best of luck as you
Yes,
finish up your summer schedule and get into your freshman.
yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.